Chris Matthews, host of Hardball on MSNBC, has just announced his retirement. He announced it on MSNBC's air, so let's take a look at what he had to say.
Let me start with my headline tonight. I'm retiring. This is the last Hardball on MSNBC, and obviously, this isn't for lack of interest in politics. As you can tell, I've loved every minute of my 20 years as host of Hardball. After conversation with MSNBC, I decided tonight will be my last Hardball, so let me tell you why. The younger generations out there are ready to take the reins. We see them in politics, in the media, in fighting for their causes. They are improving the workplace. We're talking here about better standards than we grew up with, fair standards. A lot of it has to do with how we talk to each other. Compliments on a woman's appearance that some men, including me, might have once incorrectly thought were okay. We're never okay. Not then and certainly not today. And for making such comments in the past, I'm sorry.
Now, as we know, Chris Matthews has faced quite a bit of backlash over the last few weeks because of his comments about Bernie Sanders and his candidacy. But recently, there were some accusations of sexual harassment toward Chris Matthews. And so Laura Bassett, who is a columnist for GQ, shared some details about her experience with Chris Matthews back in 2016. And I want to share those details with you. My guess is that's what he was referencing in that statement. In 2016, according to Laura Bassett, right before I had to go on his show and talk about sexual assault allegations against Donald Trump, Matthews looked over at me in the makeup chair next to him and said, quote, "Why haven't I fallen in love with you yet?" When I laughed nervously and said nothing, he followed up to the makeup artist, "Keep putting makeup on her, I'll fall in love with her."
Those are weird lines.
Yes, incredibly weird lines. But you don't even have to rely on what he said to someone in some degree of privacy, because he said incredibly uncomfortable things to women on the air. This was a video that I remembered in reading about the details of these sexual harassment allegations. This is from 2007, when Erin Burnett was about to join CNN. And here's how the conversation went down.
You get a little closer to the camera.
What is it? Is it
coming in closer? No, coming further, coming closer. Really close.
What are you?
Just kidding. You look great. Anyway, thank Erin. It's great to have. Look at that look. You're great.
I don't even know. I'm gonna have to go look at the tape here. I'm
no, you're beautiful. Thank you. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. You're a knockout. Anyway, thank you, Erin Burnett.
All right.
It's all right getting bad news from you, even. Okay. Thanks for coming on Hardball.
And some of you might think, well, that was back in 2007. The culture was different then. You know, he might have changed. Except here's what he had to say about Melania Trump fairly recently.
And only the candidate can make that decision.
And the party will trust Trump to be able to make that decision.
Well, I think the party won't have a role in it.
You see her walking?
We just heard from the likely nominee of the Republican Party. We will go to a break here.
I can watch that.
The discussion continues.
Yeah, time to go.
So, hold on. The obvious question is, did he not know that his mic was live? But the secondary question is, did he not know that he was with other people? Because even if you thought your mic wasn't on, why would you vocalize those thoughts? That's way too revealing and personal and specific.
Because he has a history of vocalizing those thoughts and not suffering any consequences for it whatsoever.
That's true.
So that segment with Erin Burnett was so uncomfortable to watch, to experience.
I felt like I felt so bad for her that she had to go through that. Like, it's so weird. It's so weird and drawn out, and like you're not just saying something, which would be bad enough, but making her do something. It's this weird, like, I have the power to make you do the thing I want. I didn't like it at all. I thought his sort of apology, like just the apology, not all of the context around it, other things he said and done, God only knows. I thought that apology was good. He didn't do the thing that like they all do, which is, standards are changing and people are sensitive now, and like,
that's true.
I said something back in the day and it was fine then, but I get, okay, now it's not fine. Like lots of them say that. Almost no comedian can pass this bar. He said it wasn't right then. We thought it was. It wasn't. It was never okay, and that's the right stance.
I mean, I don't know if he's genuine. I don't really care to speculate about that, but I like that he didn't trash younger generations who are fighting for equality in the workplace, who are fighting for a more, comfortable work environment for women and minorities.
Yeah.
So I guess I'll give him some credit for that. But one other thing that really stood out to me was I didn't know he was 74 years old until today. Like I knew he was up there in age, but 74 is so he's retiring. And what's incredible to me is that as he experienced Bernie Sanders rising in the polls, winning primaries, he started panicking as if he was some sort of victim. And all I could think about is he gets to retire.
Yeah.
With millions and millions of dollars.
I guess he has some money.
Good. He is not a victim. And he never will be. He is an incredibly privileged person, despite all the terrible things he said, both on the air and behind the scenes, despite his terrible political analysis. He gets to retire comfortably with millions of dollars, tens of millions of dollars in the bank. He's good. He was never a victim, but he somehow tried to make himself out to be one because he doesn't like Bernie Sanders. It's amazing.
That's true. I will say, just purely sort of looking back on him, look, I never like sat down and watched an hour of his show, but I did like, and Cenk has said things like this, I liked the enthusiasm that he brought to it. There was an element there of interest in politics that a lot of them don't have that reminds me more of us. It's the only thing that reminds me more of us. But the actual, it's not like I'm a news actor, put some stuff on the teleprompter and I will read it for you. Like he actually cared and was passionate. It led him in the wrong direction. I don't agree with a lot of his values and obviously not with any of the policies he would go for, certainly any of the candidates he would go for. But I like that. I think that's one of the reasons he had the audience he did was he sort of had this sort of like childlike glee sort of thing to him. And beyond that, that's the only thing I'm saying.
Okay, I'm just gonna leave it there.
Thanks for watching the Young Turks, really appreciate it. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. You'll get to interact with us more. There's live chat emojis, badges. You've got emojis of me, Anna, John, JR, so those are super fun. But you also get playback of our exclusive member-only shows and specials right after they air. So all of that, all you gotta do is click that join button right underneath the video. Thank you.